Now assume I give you a graph G. A graph is basically a bunch of vertices and some edges. I show you such a graph here and I ask you, can you tell me what are the weak ties here? How can you tell me? How do you know what is the intensity of friendship here? You obviously cannot tell me, or can you? Look at the underlying graph, the graph that is shown here. Remember, this graph is actually, we discussed about this graph. You do not have to remember, I'll help you recollect it. There are 25 nodes this side and 25 nodes that side, and there is only one friendship from someone this side to someone that side. First of all, there are 625 possible friendships between these two clusters, because there are 25 this side, 25 that side. Total possible is 625, out of which I am saying there is only one friendship happening here. Alright, fine. Let us assume the graph is like this. Do you sense that this particular edge here, this red colored edge, is actually a weak tie? Isn't that obvious? Because this person is in some other island altogether, and in this island this person knows a lot of people that this person does not know. Mainly I am saying B knows a whole lot of people that A does not know, and A and B are friends with each other. Now A and B by definition, do you think it should be a weak tie? Now you can tell me, how do you know it is a weak tie? Maybe they are good friends. That is slightly not possible, probably not possible, for a simple reason that if they were good friends, let us say A and B were good friends, then B has a lot of friends there and A should also be friends with them because of triadic closure, correct? Given that triadic closure is not happening itself is an indication of the fact that A and B are weak, they form a weak tie, their friendship is not intense. Now remember what I said a while back? I said there are 625 possible friendships, there is only one friendship happening. This is rare, such a structure may not even exist in real life. So this such a edge is called a bridge. The definition of a bridge is basically this: you remove that edge, the graph becomes disconnected, okay, that is the definition. Now this definition does not seem to be of any help, because we may not see such structures. If we see such structures, then we know it is a weak tie, we may not see such structures. So I am going to relax this definition slightly and I am going to define what is called a weak bridge. It is actually called the local bridge, but it is intuitive on my mind to call it a weak bridge. So what is a local bridge? Local bridge is a bridge, an edge without any triad on the either sides of the vertices. A and B is called a local bridge if there is no triad on them, not even a single triad. Now do you see, every bridge is a local bridge by definition, because a bridge means what? A and B do not have any common friends, nor is there a path from A to B apart from the AB edge, correct? So AB is a local bridge if there is no triad on it. As you can see from the figure here in this example, AB is not a bridge but is a local bridge because there is no triad on it, correct? Now such local bridges are also can also be considered as a weak tie. Why? Think about it. Here again A is friends with B, AB is a local bridge. None of B's friends A knows. Why? If A were to know a B's friend, that would sort of result in a triad on A and B, you see. So none of B's friends A knows, none of A's friend B knows. Sounds like a weak tie, you see. So, Granovetter actually observed that these local bridges are what forms is what one means by a weak tie. It forms a weak tie, and a weak tie mostly is a local bridge. They both do not have a common friend. So, this is the definition of local bridge, and this is where Granovetter argued that such weak ties is what resulted in A being friends with someone who connects him to a different island altogether, from where a very good opportunity can knock his door through B. I am going to explain a very nice way in which we can analyze the local bridges that we just now discussed. So, what is a local bridge? A local bridge between two people is that edge, that relationship where, let us say A and B are friends. You call this friendship as local bridge if there are no common friends, right. For example, as you can see, A and B are friends, and A is on the left side, B is on the right side, and there are a lot of friendships for B, a lot of friendships for A, but A and B do not have a common friend. A and E, they have common friends, A and D have common friends, but A and B do not have common friends. This is called a local bridge. Here goes my question, let me write that down. The question which we are going to ask and answer right now is the following: what can one say about these local bridges? Are they strong ties or weak ties? We saw strong ties, we saw weak ties, we discussed about the strength of weak ties, right. We saw local bridges. Now I am asking this question: are local bridges, are they strong ties or weak ties? By this I mean, A and B are friends, and this A and B, do they enjoy very close friendship, or is their friendship very weak? Something in me tells me that it is indeed a weak tie. Why? Let us try looking at it mathematically. Let us discuss logically why one can actually show that it is a weak tie. What am I trying to say? Let us say, as a real world analogy, all I am saying is, if I were to have a friend in, let us say, Indonesia, will I be very good friends with this person? Firstly, it is the proximity, right, we may not meet each other very regularly, but that aside, if I were to have a friend with someone in Indonesia, will that friendship be very strong? Looks like no is the answer. There could be exceptions, but mostly no. When you have friendship across two different clusters, the way I have showed here, as you can see, this is a cluster, this is another cluster, right. Between these two clusters, if there is a friendship, that is mostly a weak friendship. How? Why? What makes me say this? Let us look at it mathematically. Okay. So now, assume this A, let me just write A here once again, A and a B, and there is friendship here. A has a lot of friends, let us say, okay. Forget this case, I am looking at another situation. A has a lot of friends, and you see some of A's friends, let us say A has, assume A has A has 50 friends, out of which 5 are strong friendships, strong ties. What do I mean by this? We all have friendships, some of them are close, some of them are not so close. A has 50 friends and let us say 5 of them are very close. Now let us look at this in detail. If you see, what did I just say? I said if A has 2 very close friendships, really close friendships, assume A, let me in fact give them some name for clarity's sake, assume there is a person called Prakash here, and then Raj, and then Ram. Prakash is friends with Raj, Prakash is friends with Ram, and they are very good friends. Their tie is really strong. What can you say about the friendship between Raj and Ram? What can you say about it? Do you think that is also strong? That we cannot say, but for sure there should be friendship between Raj and Ram. Why? Imagine you are really close to 2 people, very close, from the past 10 years you are close to these 2 people. Is there a possibility that these 2 people do not know each other? Every possibility that you would have made these 2 people meet each other. I am not saying any 2 friends of mine know each other. I am only saying if there are 2 really best friends of mine from a long time, strong friendships, they both will at least know each other. They may not be a strong tie, not necessarily, they could be, not necessarily, but definitely there is a tie between these 2 people, right. This property, which is very straightforward intuitively, goes by the name strong, it is sort of self explanatory, strong triadic closure property. What do we mean by this? We just mean when there is a triad and they are strong, they are closed. That is what I mean here by a strong triadic, strong, it is a triad and the friendships are strong, and that will lead to the triad getting closed always. It is a property that is very easy for us to sort of visualize, right. So, now when this happens, what do you mean by this happens? This always happens, you see, but all I am saying is if we assume that this property is true in a network, whenever you have 2 strong friendships, there is a friendship between these 2 people. So, Raj and Ram become friends if Prakash is strongly in friendship with Raj and Ram. Let us get back to our previous slide. As you can see, A has 50 friends out of which 5 are strong ties. Then let us say A and this person, let us say this person Z, A and Z are very close friends. My claim was local bridges are weak ties. Assume A and B was indeed strong tie, and A is friends with 5 people with strong ties. So, A and Z is, let us say, strong, see what happens. A is friends with B, A is friends with Z, both are strong friendships. So, what does the triadic closure property say? Let us go and then see. The triadic closure property says that wherever you have two close friends, they are basically friends with each other. So, what happens here? You observe that Z and B will be friends because of the triadic closure property, thus resulting in A and B, not being a local bridge. Why? What is the definition of a local bridge? There are no common friends, but here you are seeing a common friend between A and B, which is Z, correct? So, what did we just infer? Let us paraphrase. A and B, if you assume were local bridge, was a local bridge, then A naturally has a lot of friends and some of them are strong ties. Assume A has at least one strong tie, namely Z, and A and B is a local bridge. My claim is this local bridge cannot be a strong tie. If it becomes a strong tie, then there should be a link between Z and B by the strong triadic closure property, which is self-explanatory and intuitive, correct, which violates the fact that AB is a local bridge. Okay, logically speaking, a local bridge is mostly a weak tie. So, let me write that down. So, our conclusion is that a local bridge is always, rather mostly, a weak